Along with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. We're live at the United Center where the Chicago Bulls have home court advantage. And it's the Warriors to start out. And now the Golden State Warriors starters. The defensive stalwarts, Green. And Bogut are down low. Thompson is the 2 with Barnes at the 3. And it's Curry in at the 1.
And there was a question of whether or not Derrick Rose would be able to get back to his former self. At times last season, you could see him back in that MVP form.
Flush that thing down, young fella.
That is a fierce two-hander.
Maximum force on that dunk.
Curry kicks to Green from past the arc. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Green's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. And with Rose again, he showed flashes last season of his level of play, Clark, before the injuries.
Yeah, exactly. And you hate to see any player go down with injuries, especially a talent like Derrick Rose. He still needs to show that he can regain that high level of NBA play for an entire season. I think that's just a matter of time.
And that one's good, Barnes. And so here is Chicago. It's a 3-point game. Outside Rose. Launches a 3. And the shot is good.
Trifecta for Derrick Rose.
First quarter of play, 1 minute played. Warriors are gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Curry with it. Butler covering. Curry against Butler. Curry kicks to Barnes. Shoots. The shot no good. Now Chicago takes it the other way. And Doris Burke spoke with Steve Kerr. Doris?
I asked him what he'd most like to see from his team today, and he told me we'd really like to keep Pau Gasol under wraps in this one. He went on to explain that Gasol can take over games with his efficiency on the offensive end, and the key to their win will be getting a hand in his face every time. Guys?
All right, Doris, thank you very much. And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. A nice bounce-back year for Harrison Barnes, Clark, in year 3. Moved into the starting lineup last year and really responded.
Yeah, he did. I think he benefited from the new system. He was miscast as an isolation scorer, but when he can spot up for threes and catch the ball on the move, that's his game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Harrison Barnes, very athletic. He certainly passes the context, and with his size, he can punish smaller wings and create mismatches, and then also he can play some small ball power forward at times as well with the way they like to space the floor.
To the wing on the left. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. Dunleavy, the pass to Portis. Right side Gasol. It's stolen by Bogut. And up the court come the Warriors on the break. Thompson with the ball. Got a hand on it. And we're about a minute and a half into the first quarter. It's stolen by Bogut. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Here's Barnes. Falls through. He's now made 2 of 4. And look at how the hustle game has been going for the Warriors.
Well, I think the defensive aggressiveness on display here has caught him off guard. Playing airtight defense and coming up with the steals.
And also, they're jumping on a lot of turnovers, making sure they turn them into points at the other end. And you talk about Harrison Barnes overall. He had a nice uptick in his rebounding last year, and that was a goal of his. He wanted to get his activity level up. And oftentimes the difference between being good and great is just making those small incremental improvements in different facets of your game. And injuries once again were a central theme of the Bulls season last year. Losing Rose was one thing, but then having Jimmy Butler lose a lot of time put them in such a tough spot. Oh, great defense there. Anticipated the play and got there first.
And not afraid to put his body on the line either, Greg. He took a shot for the team in that situation.
The Warriors have gone 50% from the field to this point, 4 of 8. And for the Bulls and injuries, a lot of teams plan for these type of things. There's only so much Clark can do to mitigate losing their starting backcourt.
But I tell you, great respect and admiration for the Bulls for how they fought through the difficulty. I mean, their front court did what they could. The injuries, once again, I thought turned the Bulls from championship contenders to just a playoff team.
Here's Gasol. Harrison Barnes picking up that last basket. And Gasol with the dunk.
Elevates and powers in the one-hander.
Textbook.
Yeah, and I'm glad, guys, he doesn't go overboard on that one and get a little too fancy.
Now here's Curry. Fires at the elbow. Green. A shot by Thompson, and no one's around. And another 3 for Golden State.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble.
Dunleavy for 3. And again, it's the Bulls from deep.
Tit for tat right there, huh, guys?
Didn't take him long at all, fellas, to get those 3 points back.
And so they choose to intentionally foul.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
Yeah, but that's no excuse for that kind of foul. I mean, that might be an explanation for it, but certainly doesn't justify it. And even then, it's just not a good play.
The Bulls making a switch here. McDermott's checked in. Chicago calls timeout. Watching Mike Dunleavy Jr., he's simply the mark of consistency. We know he's in his mid-30s, but you know exactly what you're going to get out of him every season. I think Tom Thibodeau, last year's Chicago coach, really admired that and loved it.
It's so funny watching Mike Dunleavy Jr. play. I remember when his dad coached me when I was with Portland, and he was a little kid running around, and all of a sudden he's become this great NBA player. But you're right, though. He's made himself into a valuable asset in terms of the role he's been given for the Bulls.
Now here's Green. Nobody near Barnes. Another field goal for him. 4 for 6 shooting tonight. And we're approaching about 3.5 minutes played in the first quarter.
Talking about Dunleavy, boy, I tell you, he was playing at a high level already by his second season in the league. Practically every statistic across the board matches up since then. And that's over a decade later.
And here is Green. After Jimmy Butler made that last 3-pointer. Good.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than their assist numbers. And theirs are fantastic.
Just beautiful when they play the game like this.
Green in the post. Working on Rose. And the whistle blows as the basket counts. And a 3-point play chance right here. 1 free throw coming up.
And getting back to Dunleavy's consistency here in his later years, he's one of those guys who has really ramped up the nutrition. He's hitting the weight room. I could make the case that he was a tougher, better player last year, especially on defense, than at any other time in his career.
Spates checked in for Golden State. And when you look at Draymond Green, he's not a guy who will wow you with his numbers or his athleticism, Clark. He brings a lot of intangibles, though, and I remember talking early in his career with Tom Izzo of Michigan State saying those exact things, that he gives you so much more than just what you see.
And his current coach and our former partner, Steve Kerr, raves about him. He's the heart and soul of the Warriors, in Steve's words.
The drive by Thompson. No good. So the Bulls will take it the other way. Brooks outside. Another one falls for Chicago.
You know, you talk about Green's enthusiasm for the game. He's constantly talking, whether defensively or even in an opponent's ear. He's a vocal presence. And also another example of how a guy can make an impact without necessarily having it show up in the stat sheet.
Now here's Butler. Harrison Barnes missing his shot. That's good.
boy, this game is off to a flying start.
Yeah, we're seeing some high-octane offense from both sides in this one.
Now here's Curry. They need this. And Mirotic sends it back. And here we go. The Bulls fast break. Oh, and the jam by Butler.
Great hustle to turn the block shot into a fast break hoop. That's a big-time play.
1:06 left in the first quarter.
And also, don't discount his leadership. Draymond Green's been a vocal leader his entire career. Even as a rookie, he wasn't afraid to challenge his teammates. And that competitive spirit, guys, can be contagious.
Speights with the block.